So now that you have made your three-dimensional star frame, you can take any piece of paper, and I'm going to use wrapping paper. You can use any paper you like, whatever color you like, and we're going to dress our star frame by just gluing this paper and then trimming it with some glue. So here we go. We're going to glue the frame just very slightly and then lay our paper on top of it. You can use any type of glue that you would like, but since I'm using this paper glue, what I'm going to do is rub my finger on the frame so that it will not be too much glue and mark our paper badly. So I'm going to take this now with the glue on the frame, take my paper, I'm going to lay down the paper and place my star on top of it. So I got my paper on top of the frame, I have my glue on the frame, just going to press it down the paper so that the paper would be glued on the frame. Then I will trim it. Now that I have my paper glued onto the paper, or onto paper onto the frame, I'm going to start trimming the paper around the edges. And you want to leave a little space so that you can just wrap it around that frame with a little bit more glue and get that paper clear out of the way. So by the way, instead of using scissors, you can also use a blade to run it around the frame to cut your paper. But I don't have a real good blade today, so I'm just using a pair of scissors. So now that I have the paper on my frame glued and trimmed, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the inside and then wrap whatever loose paper I have. So now that I have put glue on the inside and smooth it out so there's not too much glue, I'm going to bring in the paper on the edges so that it's nice and clean there, so that I can put my other piece of paper on those triangles, but it'll be a smooth edge, just like so. So that I got everything smooth out on the edge now. It looks pretty good. I'm going to skin the other side and repeat that process to skin each side of my star, and then we will skin the sides with another piece of paper, another triangle. So I have paper glued on the other side of my star, and as I alluded to earlier, when you trim the edge, you should leave a little piece so that you can fold that in and it'll look nicer on the front. So when you trim it, leave a little little piece on the edge. So I'm going to put a little glue on the insides, then wrap the leftover piece to the inside. Now that I have the skin on both sides of my star, I'm now going to skin the sides by again putting a little glue on the frame, and then take a piece of my paper and just glue it on the edge like so, and then you can trim it very carefully on the edge once you glue it down. So you don't want to use too much of your paper. I'm now going to glue the edge first of my paper like so, and then I will trim it to fit it properly. I glue that down like so, and then I will trim it. So I got one side skin now, so I'm getting there. I got 4 more to skin, and so you just repeat the process till you're done. Then if you look at your star, you can kind of, they're not all perfect because you have to make some adjustment, but you can find the right angle of your star to make it really look nice. So I think I'm going to use this, making this my top and this my bottom, right? Because this one looks kind of awkward. That looks kind of awkward. So I think I'm going to go with this. So now I'm going to finish all my sides, and then I'm going to add a tail to the end. And if you'd like to cover the edges, you can put a tape there to make it colorful, or add little things at the end to make it look a little nicer. But we'll see how far I go. So now that we have dressed or skinned our 3-dimensional star frame, our Christmas lantern, Filipino parol, we'll let it sit and have the glue, all the glue dry up, and I will show you how to make the tails a little later.